My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Dear brothers and sisters, the readings of today speak to us about the Catholic heart of God. Yes, you heard it right. God has a Catholic heart. That does not mean God is exclusively for Catholics. No, the opposite is true. As you know, Catholic means universal, for the Greek root is katholikos, which means universal. It speaks about the universal perspective of God's offer of salvation. This is a perspective that is very dear to us Catholics, and we are committed to that understanding of Christianity that is meant for all, offered to all, and that belongs to all who seek it in faith. Catholic was a name given to Christians very early when it became obvious to outsiders that Christians belonged to all walks of life and welcomed people from all racial and religious groups. And our community, as you can see here, also is a mixture of various cultures. And all are welcome to our community, as our mission statement says. All the readings this Sunday revolve around this theme of universality. God speaks through prophet Isaiah that his house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. This prophecy was given to the Israelites after their return from the Babylonian exile. Isaiah says something startling and unheard of, that the foreigners who join themselves to the Lord will be welcomed to the temple of Jerusalem, and that their offerings and sacrifices will be acceptable at his altar. God reveals the truth that in his eyes there is no distinction among human beings based on race, caste, or color. And the responsorial psalm of today continues that theme of inclusivity. Let all the nations praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. And Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles, as he identifies himself, assures his readers and us that God desires to have mercy upon all, upon all. And in the gospel story, Jesus, by healing the daughter of a Gentile woman as a reward for her great faith, shows us that God's mercy and love are available to all who call out to him in faith. Pope Paul VI expressed this so well in 1966. I quote, "To take away from the church its qualification of Catholic would mean to change its face, the face Christ wants and loves. It would mean to go against the intention of God, who wanted to make the church the expression of his unbounded love for the whole of humankind. A Catholic heart means a heart with universal dimensions, a heart that has overcome the basic narrowness. It means a magnanimous heart, an ecumenical heart, a heart capable of embracing the whole world." End of quote. And his predecessor, Pope John the 23rd, said so movingly, I quote, "The secret of my ministry is in that crucifix you see opposite of my bed. Look at it, see it as I see it. Those open arms on the cross have been the program of my pontificate. They say that Christ died for all, for all. No one is excluded from his love, from his forgiveness." End of quote. Yes, if we believe that Christ died for everyone, then no one should be excluded from the all embracing reach of God's love. So we need to pull down our walls of separation, the walls which our pride, intolerance, or fear, or prejudice may have raised, and share in the universality of God's love. Let us then turn to the gospel that recounts the unique story of the Canaanite woman, one of the most attractive characters in the Gospels. She is the only person in the Gospels who has the wit to outwit Jesus, where someone gets the better of Jesus in a debate. And I cannot think of any other story where Jesus seems to be so harsh with someone seeking his help. First, his apparent refusal to her cries by his silence. You see, he seems to ignore her persistent request. Then he tries to distance her by holding on to his exclusive mission to the Jews. But that only brings her closer, kneeling at his feet. Then comes the harsh stuff, that offensive comparison of her to a dog. In the context of the Jews considering themselves as the children of, or the only children of God, and the Gentiles as dogs, she refuses to retreat even at that. But it only brings the best out of her. She tells Jesus that even the dogs can eat the scraps that fall from the master's table. She is satisfied even with the dog food, the scraps of the blessings that comes from Jesus. And Jesus is won over to grant her request, and he also gives an excellent faith certificate to her. O woman, great is your faith. A similar appreciation we know was given to another pagan, the Roman centurion, for his response of faith, which is dear to us as well. Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof. Just speak a word and my servant will be healed. Now it is good to consider why the woman refuses to leave and refuses to feel offended. The simplest answer could be because she was a mother and her need was great. Or she sensed from the beginning that Jesus was only testing her determination and her faith. We have only the words and gestures recorded in the story, not the emotions on their faces. So, did she notice the little smile on Jesus' face, even in his dog talk? Consider that. Because the women are good at that, being sensitive even to the subtle emotional expressions. That is their blessing. Thus, we come to know that those harsh words Jesus spoke to her did not represent his own sentiments. He was merely quoting what the Jews of the day would say to the woman. But his response was one of love, as is clear from his deep appreciation of her faith and granting her request. Brothers and sisters, our Lord shows us God's heart that is inclusive, welcoming, compassionate, forgiving, and flexible. The heart of the Lord reaches out to all people, and so must the heart of his disciples. His desire is that people be united in his love. One of the tragedies of life is the walls people build around themselves. the circles they draw around themselves. Jesus is tearing down the walls of separation and exclusivism. So, in obedience to the Lord, may we always strive to be a welcoming, compassionate, open, and inclusive community.